What's up, guys? Mike here, head trader, True Trading Group. January 23rd was a nice day. Was able to kind of put together a decent P&L day. I've been in a little bit of a rut lately. In the last week, I have not been trading well. I was having a hard time getting things going. But every day is a brand new day, and what I did that was able to kind of help me control my downside while I'm kind of going through a funk was lower my position size. Okay, when you are not trading well, or if you're in a little bit of a funk, and everybody goes through it, everybody has it. Okay, everybody will go through just a string, whether it's a couple of days, it could be a couple of weeks, where you're just not trading well, you're just cold, you're not really in the zone, and that's kind of what I've been going through the last week or so. So what I did was lower my position size because I'm not worried about trying to make back what I lost on my losing days. I'm just worried about getting green and managing my risk to the downside until I pull myself out of the rut. And then once you pull yourself out and you kind of get back on track, when I say pull yourself out, I'm not talking about pull yourself out, make back everything that you just lost, but get yourself out of the funk and start to put together a couple of consecutive green days and start to gain your confidence back a little bit, because you're going to go through, especially if you're an inexperienced, you're a new trader, when you hit your first or second funk, you're going to start to doubt yourself. Your self-confidence is going to plummet, and you're going to feel like maybe you can't do this. So it's important to get that confidence back, and you do that by putting together a couple of winning trades and maybe a couple of green days. So that's why it's not as important to make back what you lost as it is to just get yourself back on track. And until you do that, lowering your position size can really help you when it comes time to now pull yourself out of the hole that you just dug yourself in with a couple of losing trades or a couple of losing days. And then once you get yourself back on track, then you can bring your position size back up. So over the last 2 days, my position size has been lower because I just wasn't trading well, and I didn't want to just continue to trade with my full size. I wanted to just reduce my size, take on less risk in case this funk that I'm in lasts another few days. I don't want to, really start to hurt myself P&L wise. So that's what I did. Okay, lowered my position size, kept my risk under control, and stuck with it, and I was able to put together a really nice day here today, on on smaller size than I normally would trade with, and that's just perfectly fine because I was still able to put together a good day, thanks to MBOT. I traded MBOT twice today, two separate setups, two separate times in the day. One was in the morning, one was in the afternoon. So two different trades on MBOT, and I'm going to walk you guys through those two trades now. But I want to discuss that with you because it's important. A lot of traders, when they take a big loss or they have a string of losers, some traders have the tendency to increase their position size just because they feel like they have to make back what they just lost, and that's the worst thing that you can do as a trader, because you're not hot, you're not on fire. So why would you increase your position size if you're trading poorly? And I was trading poorly the last few days, so I lowered my position size just to get myself back on track, and I was able to do so today. So let's get to this MBOT. My first trade of the day, let's zoom this in a little bit so it's a little bit easier for you to see. Okay, MBOT had a nice strong push right off the opening bell, gave you a little bit of a pullback, found support at VWAP, the trade line came up, crossed over VWAP, and shot the stock right through the high of the day. Okay, when it broke through the initial morning high, you can see it was coupled with a real nice strong increase in volume. So here was your initial morning high. There's the push off the open, initial morning high, your first pullback, and then bang, we break through it because of the support here at the trade line and VWAP with the increase in volume. When you get a nice strong increase in volume through the high of the day, you can draw a line right across that previous high. Look for that high to now act as an area of support. Okay, and you can see here now the trade line and VWAP worked its way up to now line up with the previous high of the day, or the initial morning high on MBOT, and on that pullback right in here is where I got long, okay, at 9:26. Let's go to my trade announcements on the day. Here you guys can see, first trade of the day was AVCO on a tier 1 position. I just was getting into tier 1 just in case we saw a short squeeze. The stock had a short squeeze yesterday. I thought, just in case the stock continued, I had small size on a tier 1, but it ended up not working out. But it was just a tier 1 position, so it really didn't really do too much damage P&L wise. So now here we go, guys. 1034 long MBOT at 926. Okay, long MBOT at 926 right here, and then we pushed up, broke through highs, and I started taking profits up along the way as we start to push and extend up to a high of the day here of 1005. And you can see I was taking profit off 960, 991 was the bulk of my position, and then I sold out actually for a loss on the final piece of my position at $9, but the take profits at 960 and the bulk at 991 was well more than enough to cover the loss on that last piece. Once we broke down below VWAP right there is where I exited the last piece of my trade at $9. Okay, so it was take profit with the breakthrough highs, held on to one last piece in case we got continuation, and we pulled back in, broke below VWAP, and that's when I exited the last piece of that position. So small loss on the last piece, but nice little profit there on the bulk of my position from 926 up to 991. Now let's move this over as we get to the afternoon. Oh, in other news, MBOT announced another offering during the day. Okay, so that's why the stock collapsed like that later in the day, because they came out with the news midday about an offering. This is the second time the stock's done this in the past couple of weeks. Other companies done this in the last couple of weeks, which I personally hate, but nothing you can do about it when a company releases news in the middle of the day like that. Nothing you can do. So, but I was already out the bulk of the position anyway, so it didn't really mean much. So let's zoom this in. What I'm looking at here, guys, was a short squeeze. We talked about this in chat with all of our members. I came on around 1:45 p.m. and was talking about the possibility of seeing an afternoon short squeeze in MBOT, because MBOT broke through the high of the day right here at 1:30. Okay, and typically when stocks break through the high of the day during lunchtime and then fail, and then pull back below that previous high, it's very difficult for that stock to then give you continuation later in the afternoon. Okay, it's like a failed lunchtime breakout. You've probably heard me talk about that many times in previous videos if you've been following my channel for a while. In the case of MBOT, I know that there's a short position in an MBOT. I know it's got a small float. And I read this, okay, this break through the high of the day, because here's your high of the day, okay, at $10. We broke through it and then couldn't hold, pulled back in. And I said to myself, man, shorts are probably getting short right in this consolidation. And they're, saying that, okay, that's a failed lunchtime breakout. The stock is probably going to roll it over later in the afternoon, get back below VWAP, and probably short this down to 850. So I came on the mic, talked to all of our members in chat at around 1:45 in the afternoon and said, guys, if this gets back above 10, watch out for a short squeeze, because I think that a lot of shorts are probably going to start to pile on this in front of $10 after that failed lunchtime breakout. And sure enough, I was right in that analysis. And as soon as we made this push right here up towards 10, I got long right here at 998. Okay, right there is my entry, 998. To go back to my trade announcements, zoom in for you. Here you see at 202, long MBOT at 998, stop loss 950 area. Okay, right there, 202. Right from there, we push, we break out, make new highs, and I started taking some profit off. You can see 1034, sold the bulk of my position at 1052, and then I had one last piece left that I actually broke into two separate orders because I thought we had a chance to really squeeze, so I was going to try to stay in the trade as long as I possibly could. So right here is where I sold the bulk of my position at 1090. Well, here's my entry again. There's the entry. There's the bulk of my position, 1090. And then we were squeezing, okay, we were squeezing, and my final take profit was going to be above 12. And then you can see right here, they came out with that news of the offering, and the stock actually got halted right here, and I was able to exit that last final piece right before the stock halted at 1026. Okay, so profitable all the way around on every piece of this trade. It's unfortunate that they released that news in the middle of the day, but there's nothing you can do about it. Otherwise, I think I would have probably, my final take profit probably would have been somewhere around 1250. I think we would have continued to squeeze going into the close, but didn't happen because of the news of the offering. All right, so that's it, guys. I hope this video helps. If there's a couple of you that maybe are going through a funk, or I'm sure you've all have gone through a funk before, and it sucks. Nobody likes to do it, but it happens. I was in a funk for a little while, and I lowered my position size to just kind of help minimize my risk and keep my losses smaller while I work myself out of it. And now I was able to put together a nice day here today. I'm going to look to do the same tomorrow. I'm not just going right back, huge size. I'm still kind of being a little bit more conservative with my size. And if I can lock another green day tomorrow, then the next day I'll be right back up to my full size, and we'll just go right back at it. All right? Take it easy, gang. I'll see you all in chat tomorrow. Take care.